If you enjoy movies, comic books, and pop culture, be sure to like and subscribe.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC Podcast, brought to you by REC Comics and Collectibles. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me as always...
Oh, I'm here today, Eric Icarus.
I know, you broke your Iron Man streak.
I broke it, baby.
Eric, you son of a gun.
I know it. I know it. It breaks my heart.
It was weird without you. And on the ones and tunas, we have the big tuna.
The ones and tunas?
I was going to say,
you beat me to it.
The ones and tunas.
Man, you can't even get my name right. You can't get your name right?
Dude, it's been a day. It's been a good day, but a day. Eric, you can find us on Instagram at REC Podcast. You can follow myself at Roman REC Podcast. You can follow the shop at REC Comics, or come visit us at 7679 North Union Boulevard in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And you can find Eric managing places, delegating things, telling people what to and to not do from a person who's been quite egregious.
It's very true.
Big Tuna, how you doing this week, bud?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, we've had kind of this long streak of rain we talked about last week. Hopefully it's drying up. I want to go to the zoo. The freezer's getting empty.
Oh, God.
So,
yeah, if they think they can't fix the monkeys for a reasonable price, they let you hunt them, all right? But the only thing is, you have to give them a Bowie knife. So they get a Bowie knife, but you get whatever.
yeah, their website says you can feed the giraffes, but, like, can you feed the tuna?
Who can? Nobody. Still kind of a light news week, but we cannot ever be let down by our beloved MCU villain and Tenoch Huerta, who played Namor in Wakanda Forever, is now, finding himself in some hot and deep water.
What do you do now?
Big Tuna, let us have it.
Yeah, so recently there is a singer that has come forward that has made accusations of sexual assault against him. We don't know too much right now in regards to the specifics of the encounter event. We don't have as much information as we had from the investigation with Jonathan Majors, the Kang villain in the MCU. So there's still a lot that we don't know. His people have come out and said that they fully deny the allegations. They strenuously seek to fight them, that sort of thing. So really the news right now is that we now have a second major MCU villain who has been accused of this impropriety taking place. Again, without knowing some of the specifics, it is hard for us to say whether or not this is going to involve any kind of recasting or what have you. Obviously that should be put aside to the actual justice for any victims if there is something that did happen, but it is interesting now that the last two MCU releases, their villains, there's kind of I'm really concerned about Ben Mendelsohn or something. I really hope Secret Invasion doesn't have that kind of plot twist.
Yeah. Eric, you look pink with barely contained bleed.
I don't want to cast judgment on this show.
Sure.
But I don't know. You think that's a bummer?
You think we're missing out that these guys are just super method? And I mean, if anybody knows Namor, he didn't take no for an answer.
That's true. Yeah.
And he's got some, and the dude's Latin. They're probably dancing. Okay, if you dance with a Latin person, some harassment's going to happen.
I think if they do recast him, it's not going to be that big of a hubbub.
Yeah,
I don't think he let that much of an impression on the audience.
He left it on me, man.
Did he really?
Love it. Yeah.
I guess the Latin community really did.
Yeah.
I mean, if they fire him, it's going to be a bad night for all the Latins.
Yep.
Like a SA, INS kitchen raid.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to ruin a lot of Latino people's night.
It's just weird that these guys, it's like, dude, especially in today's climate, it's never okay, but especially in today's climate, you have to be squeaky clean.
Well, yeah, the mouse don't play.
The House of the Mouse.
I mean, DC might, they still have, Ezra Miller has a career. So go over to Warner Brothers. They don't care.
Yeah, man. There you go. You can
essay as much people as you want.
Speaking of DC,
we're just getting right out of that one.
I went to a screening last week, Eric.
You did?
And I watched DC's The Flash.
Okay.
I will be as spoiler-free as I can be in talking about it. It's been a long time since I got to watch a movie before any of you guys, so if you want to touch me, go ahead. There you go. Now you too have been next to greatness, like Ezra Miller. There's a lot of stuff wrong with this movie, and there's a lot of stuff right with it. To be honest,
Okay.
Where would you like me to start?
Let's start with the right.
Okay, the right. So you guys know that I'm a DCEU hater. A few
Ooh.
exceptions. I love the Suicide Squad by James Gunn, and that's about it. That's the only thing I really like.
Okay.
You know, soup to nuts.
You didn't like Aquaman?
Oh no, you're right. Sorry,
You didn't like
Aquaman.
the first Wonder Woman?
All right.
Three. I mean, it's only
Yeah,
three.
No, you're right.
It's
though.
only
You're
three,
right.
though.
Yeah, the only one that I even remembered was the Suicide Squad.
yeah.
But you're right. Aquaman's good. Wonder Woman's good. So I went into this. I tried to be as open as I could be. I didn't fully know what to expect, and I must say, from a story standpoint, movie's good, man.
Yeah,
It's very entertaining.
Right.
It's ridiculous in the right ways. A lot of the questions I had were definitely answered. And while the Ezra Miller may be a weirdo in real life, the portrayal of Barry Allen, I dig it. I dig it. And we even get some more like twists on that without spoiling anything. We are in the, you guys have seen it in the trailer, at some point there are two Barrys. And what's really interesting is that Barry is not quite as autistic as our kind of prime Barry.
Okay.
So
Like
is it a trauma response or whatever?
Maybe he missed a vaccination.
Maybe he missed a
That's a good
vaccination.
point,
Maybe he got too many vaccinations. You know, I don't know. So that was kind of interesting to see him play that character from two different angles, having one grown up with his mother and the other one not. So
So are they alluding that growing up without your mom leads to autism?
it doesn't help. It doesn't help,
fair
right?
enough, man.
They should call it momtism.
Ooh, I like
Momtism,
that.
I like it.
Coin it. Send it off to wherever we do. Urban Dictionary, maybe. Yeah, it was. They did some really cool stuff. Michael Keaton steals the show.
Of course.
And the one thing that I will answer is that they didn't just show us all the best stuff in the trailer.
Okay.
So that's good.
That was kind of one of my
That's
worries,
good.
I guess.
Now, is that stuff really cool, and would it have been better if we just saw it in the movie? Yes.
Sure.
But there was still a lot of meat left on the Keaton bone.
Okay.
And
How about the bat flip bone?
The bat flip bone?
Is he in it?
he is
Quite a bit.
Not quite a bit.
Okay,
no,
fair enough.
No. Jordan had kind of thought that we might just get some mild reshoot stuff with him, and you did feel that.
Okay.
But we do get him in the suit. We do hear him talk, and yeah, so we do get that. The downer, the big downer, is probably the CG is bad.
Wow.
It's not like bad. Have you seen any? I know Jordan, you have, but the Spider-Man 2 video game cutaway scenes, leaps and bounds ahead of what a lot of the CG is in this Flash movie.
Whoa.
So I want to set your expectations very, very low there. There are some cool things, there really
Sure.
are, but I mean, we saw it in the trailer a bit. I mean, Jordan may as well be the other Barry. Like the CG on the two berries at the same time,
Right.
it may as well be another person. It
So
just
you can
doesn't
see
look
like the
him.
seam in the split
You just
screen or what?
see it. It's literally moving almost like a filter at some points. So
For a movie that wasn't necessarily hindered by time, you feel like they had time to get it right. Now I'm kind of a little more worried because a movie that is so dependent on visual effects
I know.
and it's sucking like this already. You're telling me it's sucking. So
yeah, the visual effects had a lot to be desired, and but they tell a very interesting story. While it's Flashpoint inspired, I mean, it's literally like he's like, something spoils next to the cheese and the cheese kind of smells like that, tastes like that.
Sure.
That's kind of, Flashpoint was next to this movie, and so it pulled out some of the flavors, but I mean, it's not Flashpoint.
Right.
It just has some of those notes to play.
Gotcha. That's depressing.
We'll see. I really enjoyed it.
Baby.
I really enjoyed it, though.
Okay, fair enough.
From a story standpoint, I really enjoyed
Okay.
it.
I might have to. I am going to go see it.
Yeah. This is the first
well,
DC movie I've seen in the theater in a long time. I didn't
Okay.
watch Batman. Yeah, I haven't watched. Maybe pre-COVID was the last time I watched
Wow,
something. Yeah,
okay, fair
yeah.
enough.
So because the
Yeah.
Suicide Squad was on Max.
Yeah.
I would like to give you guys the opportunity to ask me a question that wouldn't spoil anything really, but if you guys have a question about Flash that you want to ask. Eric, do you have anything?
Do we get a third Batman?
Do we get a third Batman?
Do you mean, like, is there anyone... Are you saying, like, is there a Batman that's not Keaton or Ben Affleck?
Yeah, is there a replacement? Because obviously they can't go forward with Keaton.
Sure.
Batfleck's done.
Yeah.
Do we get our new Batman?
Do we get our new Batman?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Ooh.
Big Tuna?
Okay, yeah. My question, which I guess is like in the same vein, but I'll just kind of extrapolate it out, is there anybody in the movie that you get a sense moving forward is going to be a DCU actor? Like, obviously, we're going to be getting a new Superman. We're going to be getting a new, Batman. We're going to be getting new characters that existed, and there's been a lot of talk about whether or not any of the, the prime timeline, the Zachary Levi's, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Jason Momoa as Aquaman. There's been a lot of questions about whether or not we'd see anybody from that group, whether they would carry over or not. So I'm just going to keep this question super broad. Is there anyone that you get a sense is going to be an actor or actress playing a DCU role moving forward?
No.
Okay.
All right. Guys, I do think it's worth watching. I'd love to hear what you guys think when you watch it. It comes out this weekend. I saw it before you, and I'm better. But yeah, Jordan, I know you said you're going to go watch it with your pops this weekend.
Yeah,
so, I'm
obviously, with his history of being falsely accused of killing my mom.
Oh yeah.
I definitely know it's going to play those heartstrings.
It's gonna hit home. It's gonna hit real close to home. Spoiler. We had a couple interesting things from Marvel this week outside of touchy-feely fish people. One was, did either of you see the leaked set photo that somebody took of Harrison Ford on the set of Captain America: Brave New World?
I did.
You saw that? Did you see it, Big Tuna?
Yeah, so the picture you're referring to is actually the picture that we flashed in a previous episode.
did.
Oh, we
Anthony
did?
Mackie was leaning in, talking to Harrison Ford. That's where we saw the new costume. That's also where we saw the new name, Brave New World, on there. But if you look closely, what
This
do
is
you
what
notice
we're
in the
talking about,
picture?
yeah.
What,
Because that was not something that we had seen before, right? It was more a higher photo?
Well, it's in the picture. It's just, I don't think really some people kind of zoomed in on that part, but it was also kind of buried with the new costume for Captain, or the Falcon, the new name announcement. But the picture of Harrison Ford leaning over in the chair is from that photo.
Okay. So, us internet nerds, or you internet nerds, I didn't see it. Apparently I saw the photo too. But we see Harrison Ford is wearing like black pants that appear to be pretty frayed by the knees, which, for those that don't know, Harrison Ford is the Red Hulk in comics. Or not Harrison Ford. Thunderbolt Ross is the Red Hulk in comics, and he's playing, Thunderbolt Ross. So,
Yeah, I'm excited.
I
man.
mean,
It's gonna be
that's
great.
fun. That's fun. I mean, it'd be cool if that's what the Thunderbolts are trying to stop later on.
They have to build to it.
They do.
I don't want that to be the villain. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah. Like I just think we might get
I
some
feel
flashes.
like even kind of revealing that he's Rolk I don't like it.
Yeah.
I wish they would have given us the Thunderbolt movie first, and then that was kind of the mid-credit thing, was him rolking out.
Well,
I wanted to build a little bit more. I mean, we know that he's going to play, the Red Hulk eventually, but why give it to us right now? We know.
Yeah.
Build this team first. Give us all the backstory in the great first movie. Then let's go into the second Thunderbolts. Full-on Rolk.
it's just going to be something that Harrison Ford just like caught his knee on something, or crashed
Crashed
the
the
plane,
plane,
on the way in, tore up his knee. But
there's that conspiracy theory that he was flying Kobe. There's that conspiracy theory, and he managed to get away.
Oh, Eric, you and Ari Shafir, two of the same sides of the same coin.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
I didn't. I heard it. I didn't kill him.
I'm just saying maybe Harrison Ford has something to do with it.
All right, we'll put our guys in and we'll look into it.
I'll look into it.
With that news, there was also some big MCU news of some moving and some shaking.
Are we talking about the Namor
Some
actor?
Kevin and some bacon. All right, no. A bunch of movies moved around, be it a few weeks, be it a few months, but Big Tuna has that scoop.
Yeah, so we're going to go in order. I'm going to give you the movie, the new date, and the previous. So kind of where the shifting takes place. So the first one is going to be Captain America: Brave New World. It was previously slated for May 3rd, 2024. It's actually moving to July 26th, 2024. So it's actually moving within the same, just back a few months to be more of a summer heart of the summer release. Thunderbolts and Blade, the next two movies, are also in the development process, which is likely being impacted by the ongoing Writers Guild Association strike, the WGA strike. And so because of the expected delays with that, those shifts and moves are a little bit more substantial. Thunderbolts is now is moving from July 2026. That was that's where Captain America is moving to. Thunderbolts is moving from July 26th, 2024 to being a December release. So they're moving it essentially about 6 months back.
Yeah.
So by the end of the year. Blade is moving from September 2024 to February 14th, Valentine's Day 2025. Woo! So fellas, if you want to be single very quickly, that's what you're doing on Valentine's Day. Deadpool also is moving. It was previously dated to be a November 2024 release. It's actually moving up to May 3rd. So Deadpool moved to where Captain America was. Captain America moved to where Thunderbolts was going to be. I mean, it's a whole thing there for sure.
Follow the red lady.
Yeah. Fantastic Four, which was going to be the Valentine's Day 2025 release, is now actually going to be a May release. So we're going to get, if everything holds, we're going to be getting a pretty quick turnaround on Blade and Fantastic Four. One February and one May. February is kind of an interesting time there. I remember when Captain America, the Winter Soldier came out, it was an April release, and there was a lot of talk about whether or not the Winter Soldier being this big MCU movie, it may have been the first one that was kind of released out of that like May, June, July, or like November, December window, and it did really good. And I remember shortly after Captain America: The Winter Soldier came out the day after my birthday. That's why I remember it so well. I remember there's a lot of talk now about opening up March and April's and expanding into that. DC and Warner Brothers had kind of toyed around with that with the March, but we hadn't seen too much in April. Now February, maybe February is the new March. I don't know. That sounds like a terrible.
Deadpool 1 came out in February. Came out Valentine's Day weekend.
Okay, yeah. Now the last two are kind of supposed to be the big culminating kind of where the Avengers and the MCU is moving towards, and that is Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Kang Dynasty was going to be the May 2025 movie. It's now moving to May 2026. It is moving back a year. That is the biggest of all the other shifts that we've seen. The fact that it's moving essentially a calendar year ahead. And then also Avengers Secret Wars, which was going to be the May 2026, is now May 2027.
Dang, wow.
And so, again, kind of some of the ripples there. It seems pretty obvious that the movies that have the least writing or production taking place had more of the sizable movements.
Right.
Deadpool's been shooting now for a few weeks. Captain America has been shooting. It's into there quite a bit. So those movies not having much movement makes sense. But yeah, getting the Thunderbolts and the Blade shifting around, kind of a little bit of a Rubik's Cube. Kind of everything is still somewhere. It's just in a different place now. It is going to be interesting to see kind of how this is going to shape the MCU. Again, how Warner Brothers decides to respond. 2025 is their big unveiling, and we're supposed to be getting our Superman movie. There's a lot of talk the last few days that the Authority is going to be introduced in Superman Legacy, which would make sense. Some have likened it kind of to a Guardians-like sort of a team that is not very well known to the general audience. So introducing elements or aspects of the Authority in Superman Legacy would make sense. But 2025 is supposed to be the big unveiling of the curtain for the DCU, and now in 2025, there's going to be we're going to be getting Blade, we're getting Deadpool, Soldier 24, Fantastic Four, and so now that means that the Avengers Kang Dynasty is moving out of 2025. That kind of clears a little bit of space for Warner Brothers. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody else seizes on these movements. Warner Brothers might feel like they want to jump the gun and move some projects that were pushed out and maybe move them back into some of these spots. But again, no studio wants to be in its own competition. So they always have to be careful about where they pace out these movies, because you don't want to reach a point where you're essentially fighting for the same audience.
Yeah. I find the move to make sense more given the writer's strike, although some of the things moving up is just kind of a little bit more surprising. It wouldn't shock me if we get one more shift, and especially if anything comes from these accusations against Majors and Huerta. Wow. There was also kind of something that you said that kind of blew my mind about Avatar. About its moving around. Obviously, it's moving separately of the MCU. It has nothing to do with it. Still, same companies, but James Cameron has all the swing that he can do. And tell me when that Avatar movie is coming out now.
All right, so let's go back in time. Let's flashpoint ourselves back. It's 2009. You are watching Avatar on a film 70 millimeter IMAX projector. You're pushing the limits of your bladder for a 3-hour movie. It ends. You're like, wow, that was amazing. I also can't remember a single line from that movie. And it becomes a global icon. It becomes this big thing. And then nothing for years. Behind the scenes, there's a lot going on. James Cameron is like, every year, he's like, I just wrote another Avatar movie. Now, jumping ahead now, we get in 2022 the sequel to Avatar, the way of water, the shape of water.
Yeah.
I don't know, the shape of you. I don't know. And this immediately it showed that lightning was striking twice. That the first Avatar movie was not a one-off. I mean, Avatar 2 is now in the record books as one of the highest grossing movies of all time. Just like how the first Avatar jumped out of nowhere, and it just blew up. It's crazy how these movies seem to have very little cultural impact or relevancy, and yet people are spending a ton of money, more so than MCU movies. Some of them. Again, Guardians likely isn't going to cross $1 billion. And Mario, I mean, all these things have these big aspects, and these Avatar, these blue people just show up, and they take it out. Now, what's interesting is Disney owning Fox, and all this stuff is connected. There's some jockeying around there too. Now, James Cameron's been very clear that he's sort of planned out what these next few movies are. In fact, footage from the next 2 movies has already been shot. It's incredible to think about that. So they're very much trying to get ahead on this technology, not making it look like The Flash for sure.
Yeah.
And so here's how things stand. This is absolutely crazy. December 2024. I'm sorry. So I had previously misspoke. I thought that Avatar 3 was going to be this Christmas. It's actually going to be next Christmas. So there's going to be 2 years between each of the Avatar movies. That was the original plan. There's been a little bit of a shifting there. So we have the second Avatar movie, December 2022. Instead of getting Avatar 3, December 2024, so 2 years apart, it's now going to be December 2025. So there'll be 3 years between Avatar 2 and Avatar 3. Avatar 4, and again, none of these movies have names, and they'll probably have stupid names when they come out, so let's call it Avatar 4 anyway.
The Burn of Fire.
Yeah. Avatar 4. Okay, this is insane. Avatar 4 was going to come out December 2026. So there was going to be 2 years between 2 and 3, and then 3 and 4. Avatar 4 was going to be December 2026. It has now been moved to December 21st, 2029. So get your tickets now, kids.
Yeah.
And Avatar 5, because Avatar 5 was penciled in at December 2028, has been moved to being now 2 years after Avatar 4, which will put it at December 19th, 2031. To put that into perspective, the gap in time between Avatar 1 and Avatar 5, if this calendar holds, it'll be 22 years. That means a child sired shortly after Avatar, if that's your thing, would be of legal drinking age by the time Avatar 5 comes out. It's incredible to think, when we look at some of these movies that have these kind of one-off sequels, Tron, you got this big gap between part 1 and part 2 and these things.
Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. But it's interesting because Star Wars, they were still product.
Yeah.
That was out there, but there's nothing Avatar. There's going to be comic tie-ins, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. There was a game released for the PlayStation 3 when the first one came out. There is a new game that was recently announced that some of the game studios have been having kind of their own version of E3 over the last few days. So there was, I think, Frontiers of Pandora is what it's called. But again, it's interesting because you don't see people dressing up really in blueface. If you ask somebody to say 2 lines from an Avatar movie, you're lucky if they even get one. And yet these movies are just they're printing presses for money.
It's crazy,
and people want to see them in theaters.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna. I didn't think that the first one was worth watching at home. And I did not watch this one in the theater, so I'm sure it'll be re-released, in 10 years when I have to watch the other ones. But all right, that's weird. I mean, again, I'm just not enamored with this concept. I think you watched it, Jordan, but you didn't watch it, did you? Yeah, I didn't. And if my I'm sure my kids will probably want to watch it one day, but I'll wait because I don't want to sacrifice 18 hours of my life going through these movies more than once if I don't have to. Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry. The amount of moving and shaking in the list, I mean, that just doesn't happen that often with big films. Like 1 or 2 a year, but moving your whole slate, and then this like you said, this 2-year plan every 2 years for Avatar, to push it to where, I mean, we're 9 years away from that movie coming out, like the last one, right? I mean, there are people who love that movie and aren't going to be able to finish the series. It just took too long, man. It just took too long. Oh, kids, that is our show. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think. I'm very excited to hear what you guys think about Flash. We'll be talking about it in great detail next week because I cannot wait to see what you guys think. Especially you guys. Eric has been a little bit more. He loves Ezra Miller. Yeah, it's his boy.
I'm there for the berries.
Yeah,
baby.
You're here. There's 2 berries, and that's enough. Eric, do you have any final thoughts for us?
I gotta say R.I.P. Cormac McCarthy, one of my favorite authors.
Oh, yeah.
Go check out Blood Meridian, one of the best books ever written. And R.I.P. to my fashionista doppelganger, Ted Kaczynski.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So,
R.I.P. Rest in peace, rest in power, King. Any hot, fresh, or cold tuna takes for us?
Yeah, you know what they say about celebrities? They die in threes. It was reported late last night that, in my opinion, the superior substitute, Treat Williams, who took over, yes, Eric knows what I'm talking about, from the Substitute series that Tom Berenger kicked off. Treat Williams, he was on the show Everwood, a show that featured, I believe it was the first series or major project that a young Chris Pratt was part of. Very, very good. Agent 13, what's her name? Emily Vandekamp? Yeah, she was in it. The kid Gregory Smith from Small Soldiers. It had a great cast. It was one of those Warner Brothers CW type shows. Everwood. Really, really cool kind of premise and idea for the show. But Treat Williams passed away in a motorcycle accident late yesterday. So a lot of tributes are rolling in. So I think our big 3 are Cormac McCarthy, Treat Williams, and Ted Kaczynski. So kind of an interesting dinner party. That's
a weird death draft class to be going into.
Another conspiracy theory: Harrison Ford riding the motorcycle.
Oh my God, he was the motorcycle. Kids, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Roman Chava.
I'm still Eric Icarus.
And for the big tuna, we will catch you on the next podcast.